Good morning and welcome to this morning's Kickstart. I'm Jay.
And I'm Brad.
Hey, and we're so glad to have you with us. Got a great Kickstart for you this morning. We've got a positive quote. You know that. Resilience tip, fun fact. So let's start off with today's positive quote. It's from George Lorimer. And he says, you've got to get up every morning with determination if you're going to go to bed with satisfaction.
Okay.
I like this. I like the ones I choose, obviously, but yeah, if you want to go to bed at night with satisfaction, you've got to have some determination in what you're going to do that day.
Well, yeah, but it's not something you can just turn on, is it? I mean, I'm like going easier said than done, man. So,
but maybe that determination is I'm going to get up and I'm going to make my bed.
That's true. That's true.
And you
have a plan the night before, maybe
down and you say, hey, I made this bed. I did a great job today. Or as you write in your journal and your daily notes, these are the things I'm going to do today. That's your determination. That's to start small.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it to work on time. Yes. I'm going to eat good today. Eat right, not good.
Right.
Eat right.
Wow.
I'm going to spend some time with my family today.
Yeah, there you go.
Those are all. If you're determined to do it at night, when you sit down and look back on the day, you can feel satisfied.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Well, that goes along with our a little bit with our tip for the day, because I have had people over the years come to me, and this is a big question they ask me. They say, well, Brad, you're talking about going for your dreams, going for what's in your heart and all this stuff. How do you know what that is? And where do you even start to figure all of that out? They say, we've just gone at it for so many different directions and we've never been able to find it. And so as I started doing my research with famous people and things like that, again, the 10 mindsets of a winner that we talked about 3 weeks ago, I think, you'll want to go back and visit those. But we're going to go move on now and go into a whole nother segment and showing you how to do that and how that all starts. Because almost everybody you see that's famous, they have that goal, they have that dream, and they know exactly what they want. It did not come to them easily at all. That's the one thing you're going to figure out, right? Because out of all the stories out there, the one that inspires me all the time is the one with Sylvester Stallone. And if you don't know who that is, look up Rocky, look up Rambo, start there. You'll find the rest. He's been in over 30 action films over the years, probably more than that, and he's written and directed a lot of them. And so I go back in his history. It's truly inspiring. Here's this man who was born when he was being in the birthing process, rather, the doctor had to use forceps on him because he just wouldn't come out. And so when he finally came out, the doctor realized, oh no, we've done something bad here. They severed the nerves in one side of his face. And that's why you get the, yo, Adrian, that's why you get that kind of droopy side there. I think he's already had it fixed over the years, but when he first started out, that's who he was. And he just had this, most people just thought, that he wanted to just make money. So he wanted to get into acting. No, not at all. If you look at what his driver, the thing in his heart that gave him the drive to do what he did, it's a little bit different. He just had this knack for writing stories. And he would write them all the time. And he'd have all these stories come to his mind, and he would just write the stories. But then after that, he started to realize, why I'm writing all these stories, but why am I writing them? And he finally came to the determination that he wants to believe, he likes these scenarios where the underdog wins, or the underdog gets noticed. That was kind of the theme of all of his stories that he had. And he thought, well, I want to take this to another level. How can I put this out there to give people hope? To give people hope that they can accomplish their goals and accomplish the things that they're after. So he chose acting as his means of portraying that. And so at first he went to the University of New York and started acting school, and he was doing okay as far as getting out there and stuff, but nobody wanted anything to do with him. Why? Because he had this kind of slur. and they didn't know quite where it would fit in. But he, over a short period of time, went to over 1,500. What do they call those things? Well, to aid the agents, there was about 300 agents in the New York area, but he kept going back to them because he's like, no, I'm going to wear them down, and eventually they're going to give me a shot. That's just how kind of how he felt. But there was one thing that he did. This is kind of a key. Every time he would go and get turned down, he would, instead of getting mad and throwing the chair or anything, he would stop and ask them, what do I need to do to become better? And some of the guys were like, yeah, you're never going to make it. Don't even try. But he got a lot of good advice out of that. So he would go practice, 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 practice. Well, after about these 1,500 interviews or auditions, that's the word I was looking for. He started to get some parts where he was just like a waiter in the movie. And there was one thing he was only in the movie for a few seconds. He got shot, and he's just like, well, this is not fulfilling at all. Well, then one night he was with a buddy of his, and they had him, he asked him to go to a fight. He had 2 tickets to this fight between Muhammad Ali and another gentleman named Chuck Wepner. Now, if you're into boxing, you'll know who Chuck Wepner is. Otherwise, you're going to have to look him up. Not a famous character at all. Well, he went to this fight, and here's this guy that nobody knows about, this big, flop of a guy. I mean, he was just there. But here's Muhammad Ali, the master machine boxer of all history, right? He was beating the crud out of this Charles Wepner, and he would not go down. Okay. Matter of fact, they called him, he had a nickname of the Bayonne Bleeder because he'd just get beat up all the time. But Muhammad Ali could not knock him out. And though Muhammad Ali won the fight, he was just intrigued with the fact of, here's this no-name guy. Now, all of a sudden, he's famous. Even if it's just for an infinitesimal moment, he got noticed. And so that intrigued him. So he went home and started writing this story. If you've ever seen Rocky, okay, the interview goes on to tell you, this interview that I saw with Sylvester Stallone went on to tell you that he wrote for 86 hours straight. He could not sleep, nothing. He just kept writing. And he actually did the whole script for Rocky, 86 hours. It was done. Now, though he made a few changes to it over the years, he thought, well, maybe while I'm doing my castings, or I'm doing my auditions, I'll start asking around. Maybe somebody will buy my script. So they took it to him and they said, here's a script. And they started, some of the producers started going, you know what, Sylvester, this has got a good theme to it. We actually like this. We'd like to buy the movie script from you. And he says, okay, but am I going to be in it? And he said, they said, no, you're not going to be in it. Okay. And he's like, okay, but I was so broke. It goes on to say that at this time, he had a total of $106 in the bank. He'd been kicked out of his house. He was living with a friend. He even got to the point where he had to sell his dog. Okay. His dog Butkus. And so he was broke when all this was happening. So they came out to him and they said, we want to buy your script, but you're not going to be in it. They offered him $100,000. Now you might go, okay, that's not a lot of money. However, back in the 70s, you could buy 5 houses for $100,000. Okay, just to put it in perspective. All right. And so he decided, you know what, wait a minute here. I think I'm the person, that Rocky guy that's in this, that's me. He says, I've got to play that part. Nobody else will be able to do it. I mean, they were interviewing people like Burt Reynolds at the time. Who was some of the other ones? James Caan. And there was one of the actors that I don't know why he's slipping my mind right now. But anyway, they had another actor, big shot actor, that was going to play the part of Rocky. And it was just like, oh man, there's no way. But Sylvester decided, you know what? I'm going to dig my heels in here a little bit. I've got nothing to lose. So I want to see how high this thing will go. Well, it kept going up and up and up. They made him an offer, $250,000, then $300,000. The final offer they gave him was $360,000 for the script of Rocky. And he turned it down because he said, I'm either coming with it or I'm not going to do it. Well, he thought his career was over after that. He probably just should have took the money and ran and done something different. But he felt so strongly about it that he stuck with it. Well, they came back to him and said, you know what, Sylvester, we believe in this script. So we're going to give you a shot at it. We're going to let you do this, but we're not giving you no big budget. It's not going to happen. They gave him a budget of $950,000, and they would only pay him $22,500 up front. And then he would get 10% of the proceeds from the movie in the end. And so, well, now you know what happened, what went on, but he learned a lot of things in the process of making that movie. Matter of fact, his dog Butkus that you see in the movie, that's the dog that he sold. He went and bought it back. And the guy, he didn't want to sell his dog back. I think the story that I've heard is he ended up paying $10,000 to get his dog back.
Wow.
But that was Butkus that was in the show there. And apparently the guy that bought his dog says, and I want a spot in your movie. And apparently he's in there, but I don't know who he is. But anyway, that's the story as it goes. So the theme of this, guys, is when you find something that you really resonate with, and it's something you know that this is who I am, you got to roll with it. You got to stick with it. And this is what the tips and strategies that Jay and I have been rolling out for all these weeks now, giving you little tidbits on how to do that, how to hang in there, how to overcome challenges and things. There's a lot to it. Matter of fact, this interview is very inspiring. I look down in the show notes. You'll see the link to it. I'd like everybody to see it. It's about 28 minutes long, but it's amazing just to sit there and watch Sylvester Stallone. But last thing, as you're watching him, you'll notice very quickly it wasn't about the money. Notice the look on his face and how he just passionately talks about he wants to make this film that's so inspiring for people. He was right down to the very. He didn't know if he could do this. He'd never directed a film. He'd never done any of this stuff, never written before, didn't know if any of it worked, but I think it turned out pretty good. Matter of fact, it's still, I believe, one of the top grossing films of all time. Granted, you have to put, inflation in there or whatnot, but it's still to this date, one of the highest grossing films of all time. And so yeah, he didn't get his $360,000, but it ended up being over $20 million that he made off of the movie. So anyway, that's what you get. 10%. Anyway, it's kind of long, but it's very inspiring, and I challenge all of you to watch it.
Okay. Well, today is not quite such a fun fact, but it is a fact about the first Monday in May. The American Academy of Dermatology established Melanoma Monday. So that falls on today, which is the first Monday in May.
Right.
To raise awareness of the symptoms, causes, and prevention of the disease. And the day has come to be symbolized by wearing orange clothing. So get your orange shirt out so you can support Melanoma Day. Melanoma is the deadliest type of skin cancer. It is developed by 1 out of every 50 Americans at some point in their lifetime. There are many ways to prevent melanoma. So today, take extra time to learn how to reduce your risk. Get your sunscreen out, get your big floppy hat while you're out working in the garden, because we can start, I think, here in Utah, we're getting to the point where we can start working on our gardens. Just take a little extra care with yourself. So
yeah,
that's our fact for today.
And I actually have an orange shirt, so I'm
right.
After I get done here, I'm going to put it on.
Well, we're as always, we want to say thank you for listening and watching our little Kickstart here every morning. We love to get this information out. Brad is just a fount of wonderful information and knowledge that he's garnered over the years. And so come back again and see us tomorrow.
We'll see you then.